Whoa, barrel roll. So I don't know if you saw my story or not, but this sucker is ancient, as my buddy Evan Pollock would say. Essentially, a client of mine said, hey, I have this drone, I don't use it anymore, and I just wanna get rid of it. I'll give it to you. And I said, okay, cool, I'm not gonna say no. And then he gave it to me and found out it's one of the OG Phantoms. Yeah, this sucker's old. I have no use for it. I have a drone. I don't do much drone work, but I have one. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it to my buddy Vandal, and he's gonna probably drop bombs from it. I did steal the little GoPro 3 Plus because this thing is insane. I mean, check this out. Like, do you guys remember when these came out? Like, I barely remember when these came out, but the sucker looks cool. Like, it's got this, like, actually, surprisingly, the audio is insane. Like, here, I'll do a switch over. This is the audio of the GoPro Hero 3 Plus. And it's got a cool, like, you know, look to it. It's kind of like, I don't want to say old school, because it's not that thing, right? I can't, my handwork, not that thing right there. It's still pretty freaking cool, and it's got a cool color. And so anyways, had to keep this thing because it's freaking cool. So sorry, Vandal, but you can have a drone. I want this and the case, actually. It's been a handful of weeks since I've done this. I thought I'd get you caught up. So this is what's going on, a lot of stuff. So I've been crazy busy with work, with doing video stuff. I worked on this insane shoot with Ondar, not Andar, Ondar, their leather company down in the valley with my wife, and she did photos, I did video, and it was so sick. I love cars, I love trucks. If you know me at all, you know that I love cars and trucks. And they brought out this C10 short bed. It was beautiful, and it was gorgeous. It wasn't supposed to be a nighttime shoot, it ended up turning into a nighttime shoot. Sometimes this stuff happens, especially when the seasons are changing. People think we have more sun, but we shifted. It ended up turning out to be freaking awesome. Brought some tube lights on accident. Wasn't really expecting to use them, and it turned out to work really well. I also just finished up a little mini like running marathon doc. Very pumped how that came out. It was such a fun story, such a cool vibe. And just had some really dope shots. Like, I'm very, very pumped on some of these shots. Also did a bunch of stuff for Merchant, which is the coffee shop inside of Founding Fathers. Did a bunch of stuff for their seasonal winter menu coming up here pretty dang soon. It's crazy. We're already shooting for winter stuff, and it's fall. So I feel like we just did fall stuff for them. But I love that they're planning ahead, and I'm pumped on how some of that stuff came out. And now tonight is Snakebit. And if you know me, I love my boy, Snakebit, Garrett. And all his knives and stuff like that, definitely check him out. So that's tonight. On top of all that, soccer, of course. Kids are growing up, just had a birthday for one of them. Fixing the garage door. We are going to get a new puppy. So we're gonna have 2 dogs. There's gonna be Cooper, and then we're gonna get a new puppy. And yeah, I'm very excited. You know, you can see my face. I have a little bit of mixed feelings because, you know, I'm gonna have to do everything again. The kids say they're gonna help. We'll see what happens, but very excited to have another puppy. I also have a handful of shows that are coming up here very soon. So the band I'm in, Narwhal, we're going on a little 3-day run. And yes, I have to check my phone because I don't remember any of this. But we're going on a little 3-day run in November. So the 15th, 16th, and 17th we'll be in Bullhead City, we'll be in Phoenix, and we'll be in Albuquerque. And just DM me for the locations, or, you know, it's on our Instagram, which is narwhal.sucks. Insanely busy with Dork, trying to get the website up and the reel and just that whole business, you know, launched and whatnot. Very excited to show you what's over there. It's pretty freaking cool. I'm sure I'll show you guys here very soon. And that's pretty much been my life for the last 2 weeks. It's been crazy, and I got a bunch more shoots coming up, a bunch of big jobs that I'm finishing up right now, doing a massive job for Meals on Wheels, and I love working for the nonprofits. I really do. I really do. All of them, honestly, like, they have such a good heart. They have such a good heart for the community and for people that they serve, and I love making videos for them. So anyways, beside the fact, it's actually kind of what this video is about, and it's the question that I've been asking myself for a while now, and I thought I would ask you guys and then kind of make a video about my opinion. And the question is video important? Now, I'm a little biased because this is what I do for a living. This is what I do for a job. This is how I make my money. So I make my income to pay the bills and provide for my family and all that stuff. So I am a little biased, but I think I have good reason. And I will say this too, I didn't plan on getting into video. Video was not going to be my route. When I was in high school, it was gonna be art, studying to be an art major, commercial artist actually. And then after high school, music was my thing. So I was not only in a band at the time that we were really trying to push, and then also doing a bunch of audio recording. I owned a studio for a while, mixing and mastering studio as well, and just really was helping bands document their music and then also get it out to the world with the best quality. So that was my thing. I was not going to do video. And with starting businesses and with realizing the power of content and with making my own content, video fell into my lap. And the biggest game changer of them all was actually this right here. So as you can tell, that is the Den's logo on some Vans with this right here. And then this is a shirt with the Den logo and the Vans logo. And that was the back of it. And then on the front is the Vans and then the Den. So this one's a little bit more worn than the shoe. I haven't worn the shoes. I've worn the shirt a bunch. That right there was the game changer in my head. The video is important. Now, going backwards just a little bit, I, before this, was making content for Virtual Sounding, which is the recording studio I used to own, and then for a bunch of different other little things, trying to get good at content and trying to master the craft and really push this theory of making video content to the world. And I had some stuff that did well. I had some YouTube videos that took off about helping bands and different stuff with drums and whatnot and mixing and all that stuff. But this moment when Vans collabed, right? So that's what happened, right? Vans collabed with the Den and made us a bunch of shoes and a bunch of shirts. That was the factor. That was the thing that just clicked in my head and went, wow, video is important. Content is important. Telling your story like this is important. So briefly what happened was, if you haven't seen my first video, go check out the first video. I'll go more in depth about it. But essentially I opened up this music venue in my town in Prescott, Arizona called The Den, and it was an all ages music venue. Was supposed to be a coffee house eventually. What happened though is that we opened up 15 days before the pandemic hit, so before COVID hit or whatever, and we ended up sitting for 2 years. Coffee house never happened, Half Pipe never really happened. We did have a handful of shows on year 3, but we sat for 2 years completely empty. And so I get this sponsored ad essentially on Instagram saying, from Vans, going, hey, calling all businesses that are hurting right now. If you think that you fit with our brand, AKA Vans, make a video, write us an email, let us know. We'd love to collaborate with you. They essentially took 20,000 companies that applied and they only picked 10. And the Den was one of them. And it was crazy. And so I saw that video and I pulled out my little Canon M50. And if you guys know anything about gear, it's a good camera. It's a good starter camera, but it's nothing like the FX3. It's nothing full frame. It does a good job, but it's not the best essentially, right? It's a great camera though. So pulled out my little M50, pulled out my little shotgun mic and just set it up, tried to light my studio as best I could and hit record. I essentially just told my story and tried to relate as best I can what was going on with the Den, what was going on with the pandemic at the time and how we've been sitting and how we had no relief from the government and literally no help at all with still trying to pay all of our bills. So we did a pretty successful Kickstarter, but a whole lot of people don't realize that we had to pay taxes on that, like quite a bit of taxes. And then our landlord actually came after us for back pay, even though he's like, oh, you're good. It's the whole thing. It was terrible. But he ended up selling quite a few shoes and shirts. They weren't the cheapest things because it was a collab and the whole thing. Vans ended up giving us a pretty dang good split. And I just still can't believe. So Vans is my favorite company of all times. I've been wearing Vans shoes since the beginning of time. I've always related with them. That brand just means so much to me. And having that company reach out to little old Stephen Kinsley in little old Prescott, Arizona saying, hey, out of 20-ish, whatever thousand companies, we want to partner with you. I actually think we were one of the top performing ones. A little toot on our end, just that's beside the fact. But the whole point, right, of telling you that story, that testimonial, is that video can relate. Video can show your mission, can show your passion, can define the lines essentially, right? Can make it so you're sitting right here on my couch with me, hanging out. So now I'm in your house, in your room, in your office, wherever you're watching this, I'm now hanging out with you. Video can do that. Okay, this is the thing, like video cameras, talking to the camera, making content like this is not a new thing. It's a very old thing, but I still feel like people are on the fence about it. It's hard, it's a little more technical savvy. If you don't know a whole lot, you can either buy gear or iPhone or hire someone. It's a whole thing. right? You know, I deal with it all the time, you know, every single day with clients. But in my opinion, as of right now, except for FaceTime, but that's technically video as well, this is the only thing that can take you and duplicate yourself. They can actually clone yourself and it live on a platform and be viewed for the next however many years. I mean, when I had a couple of my videos take off from when I was doing recording and stuff, you know, 20, 30, 40,000 people saw this one video over the span of, you know, 3 years, 2 years. And that's crazy that now a part of me, you know, I duplicated myself and it's living on this platform and it's helping out people and it's working for me. I've cloned myself. And so when someone said, hey, I have a question about this drum technique, I would go, here you go, watch this video. It's crazy to me to think who saw that video in VANS. What higher up watched this video and said, we love this company. That guy's pretty cool. I feel like that's a thing over at VANS and we would love to partner with him. So from then on, my mindset has switched. I doubled, tripled down in video. And I was even at that time with the Den, I was even doing quite a bit of video. And I really saw how video can matter, how video can get you a collab with one of the biggest brands ever, you know, blew my mind. It is proven and proven and proven by not just me, by plenty of people. And I have seen it firsthand in my life work crazy wonders, like crazy, crazy wonders. So if you're on the fence, or if you're wondering about what you should do for your business or to grow your business or do your self brand, or even just to document your life and for your kids or document your parents' life or whatever the case is, I would say do it. I would say invest in the camera. I'd say invest in the light. I'd say invest in the mic. Invest in the better iPhone. Invest in the gear. Don't go too crazy. Don't be a gear snob like me, but have the tools, you know, hire the person, right? But have the tools in some way, shape, or form to actually now start putting your story out to the world and just start. It's gonna be painful, right? It's going to be painful. And I have a bunch of tips and all that stuff. If you guys are interested, maybe I can make a separate video about how to start and how to do this and how to really push your business forward with, you know, video. Actually, I'm gonna be talking about a lot of that with Dork. Honestly, a lot about that with Dork, so stay tuned with that. But video is important, and I wish I would have started 20 years before than I did, right? Or 10 years before I did, right? The power of video, I believe, actually moves mountains. So start telling your story. Yeah, that's my story. So, okay, I got a bunch more editing I gotta do, so I'll see you in the next video. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.